today comes from Joshua chapter 9, verse 7 to 9. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go.
Good morning. That was a great-looking congregation. Well, my name is Shelby. I'm here to talk to you about love and courage. We've all heard of Captain America, right? He's a great superhero. We've all heard of Batman. He's my favorite superhero. He's pretty cool. He single-handedly saved the city of Gotham multiple times from the Joker, the Penguin, everybody. But we can't forget the firefighters and the policemen and women who served on 9/11, saving all those millions of lives that were changed that day. David was a hero. He took down Goliath with just a single stone. And we can't forget Larry Boy from VeggieTales. He was a hero. Having superpowers or being an ordinary citizen or being a pickle in a cape, they all have different characteristics, but they have one very in common. They all have courage. We've all seen The Wizard of Oz, right? Favorite movie. Great movie. Do you remember the Cowardly Lion? He wasn't so cowardly, actually. In the city of Oz, he said, "What makes a king out of a slave? Courage. What makes a flag on the mast wave? Courage. What makes an elephant charge his musk? Courage. What makes a muskrat guard his musk? Courage." See, even the most cowardly creatures all have courage somewhere. But where does this courage come from? The answer is simple. It comes from God. God gives us all the power and strength to do things we didn't think were humanly possible. Like love. I'm a huge Grey's Anatomy fan. Ladies, raise your hand, be honest, Grey's Anatomy, best show ever. I see. Even some men, hey, you never know. Do you remember Dr. Izzy Stevens? She's my favorite character because I can most relate to her. Do you remember the episode where she fell in love with Denny? Denny was a patient in the hospital. He was dying of a heart disease, very rare heart disease. His heart was failing, and he was on life support. But Izzy loved him from the minute she saw him. Denny wasn't doing too well. He was on the heart transplant list, but he was going quickly. He was not going to make it, and Izzy knew it. Izzy came up with a plan. Izzy thought she would cut the LVAD wire, the wire that would keep Denny's heart pumping for him, so he could be brought to the top of the transplant list quickly. This was risky. It went against so many rules of the hospital, but she was going to do it. Before she did, she went out in the hallway outside of Denny's room and prayed to God. She prayed to God to give her the strength to do something she knew was wrong, but she did it for love. So Izzy cut the LVAD wire and had to do 2 hours of resuscitation on Denny just to keep him alive. But Denny got the heart. Izzy was so elated, she actually got what she prayed for. God was there with her. While she was resuscitating, God was with her the entire time. God was with her to give her courage to love. My favorite Bible verse is 2 Corinthians 12:9, and it reads, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weakness, so the power of Christ may rest upon me." You see, God is the one who gives us courage to admit that we are weak, and we need God in our lives to get through things, to get through anything, like life. God works in many ways. It's incredible the things he does. God has given me courage currently to fly away from the nest, to go to college next year. Actually, this coming August. It's coming up quickly, and it's terrifying. But again, I'm excited. I fear that because I'm going to be so for my family, I'm going to be lost. I'm going to be alone. But then again, I know that God's going to be there, hand on my shoulder, guiding me through life. God has also given me the gift of knowing my calling in life early. God wants me to be a surgeon, to save lives, to be the one who can change a life there, just as he's changed mine. God saves lives. God changes lives. God's also changed mine. Thank you.
My courage and faith all started growing my freshman year. It was our ski trip freshman year, and we were going to Crystal Mountain. And I wasn't a big skier. I've never really skied before. That was my second time. Fell a bunch of times. And then one of the adults there, Mr. Duncan, came up and was like, "Hey, here, let me help you." And he started teaching me. He taught me how to stop, how to slow down, how to go faster, how to go up hills and through the woods, which very dangerous. Don't do it. And then a couple years later, he'd be racing me down blues and black diamonds, him riding backwards, me holding on to my poles, almost screaming my head off. But through that whole thing, I started knowing that my courage and my bravery was growing. But before the ski trip, actually, I was very shy, very non-spoken. I never did anything outside of my realms, which were most likely baseball, basketball, and scouting. And I was afraid to go out of those. I was afraid of the unknown, afraid what I would get myself into if I did. But it was also at that freshman year ski trip where all of that changed. Matt Handelman was playing Mighty to Save with the college band there. And at the very end of the song, he told the rest of the band to disperse, and he was left up there with his little looping machine that he always brought and would just start playing just random melodies and chords. Adam Lean walked over to me and then asked, "Could I pray for you or pray over you?" And I was like, yes, because at this point, all of us were bawling, even myself, and that was very surprising at that time. And he prayed for me to be a strong leader and a teacher and a mentor to others. And lo and behold, the last 4 years after that, I've been up leading worship with the band, which is seated over there, and also Joe sitting over there. And they've become like second family to me. I'm always ready to come in and play with them because they're just so fun and the attitudes are amazing. I also learned that faith through that ski trip and through my D group, which my dad leads, and also with Mr. Helene leads, that faith can be anywhere and everywhere at any given moment. And that leads me to one of my verses, which is Hebrews 11:1, which says, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see." To me, that gives me the power to go in the next year when I'm in college along with the other two to not only have someone there beside me the whole time, but to know that I'm never alone, knowing that I'm always with someone and he's always there for me, because I won't have my parents to hold my hand or to cry on when something goes wrong or to help edit essays anymore. But along with that, in Joshua 1, verse 9, it says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." For all the seniors, and myself included, this verse is a reminder to us. It's a reminder that we always have God there for us. We always have the shoulder to cry on, even though it may not be physically there. We always have the one person who we can put all our faith and all our love into. And just with that, we know that our faith and our courage is strong, because with him, all things are possible. And he's helped me through getting my Eagle in Boy Scouts, and to also help mentor little kids, kindergartners, in fact, at my mom's school. And just being with them has helped me to know that my calling is actually to go into teaching, going into doing either elementary education or secondary education, to be there to help guide them along the path that they would choose or that they would want to choose, just being their guiding light and friend. Thank you.
Hi there. So as you can see in your bulletin, I'm either Colin, Shelby, or Joe. And that's Shelby. And it'd be fun to give you a 50-50 chance if you're going to talk to me later. But I'll tell you, I'm Joe. This is Colin. And before I talk to you about what courage means from a Christian standpoint, I want to talk about what it means in our world today. First of all, courage and fear are usually thought of as opposites. As you gain fear, you lose courage, and vice versa. Second, fear is thought of as unmanly and looked down upon. If you're afraid, you lose respect. But courage is bold and manly, fierce and respected, right? But that's the way we picture Christ sometimes, too. And sometimes we picture him fearlessly taking up the cross with all the pain, but that's not necessarily true. In Luke 22, verse 42, we find that Jesus prays to God, saying, "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me." Now, I will never say that Jesus did not have courage. In fact, he's the bravest person that I've ever known and that ever lived, because he gave every ounce of his fear to God. He finishes his prayer and says, "Yet not my will, but yours be done." Courage is not fearlessness. Fearlessness is foolish. Only a fool would have no fear at all, because, fear can help us sometimes, and fear is needed for courage. Perhaps God lets us feel fear in order to make us desperate for his help. We need God in order to be courageous, because courage is surrendering your fear to God. It's recognizing that God is more important than whatever you fear. As Colin mentioned, right now I'm getting ready for college along with a lot of other seniors. And yeah, it can be a little scary sometimes to make the decisions as about where you're going to go, who you're going to live with, where you're going to live, what you're going to study, and everything. But for me, that's not what I'm afraid of at all. I've made those decisions a long time ago, long before I had to. Something else makes me afraid. About a year ago, I had a dream. In the dream, I found myself in a house with only 3 walls. The 4th wall was destroyed as if to let me see out of it. There was nothing through the wall that was very close, but there were some houses far away on the horizon. I turned to my right and saw a man in my house with raggedy clothes, a jacket, and a hat pulled over his head. He was reading a newspaper. But I wasn't freaked out by this because, for whatever reason, I knew that that man was God. And joy overcame me. I was just thinking to myself, finally, God is in my house. But then when I finally had him in my house, I looked back out to the horizon and I saw the houses again. And I knew that I was moving soon. After finally getting God into my life and finding my niche in my church and in my school and everything, I'm moving soon. I'm going to college. Sometimes I'm afraid that finding God in a new place and with new people will be hard. And what if I fall away? But what I must not have remembered about a year ago is that God is always with me. In fact, his prevenient grace goes before me, and he is already where I'm going, waiting for me with arms wide open. So yeah, I'm afraid. But my God is so much bigger than anything that I fear that I am learning to trust him and take that leap into a life with him in new places. So I don't know what trials you're facing and what changes you're going through right now, but wherever you're going, God is already there. So I challenge you to give your fear to God and let him be your courage. I hope that the cover in your bulletin will serve as a piece of encouragement for all of you, no matter what you see through the broken walls of your house, he's already there. For his love follows me like a holy shadow. He lights my path with a grace that goes before me. It makes me as pure as a blanket of snow, lifting all my fears and allowing me to see. I've never been alone in this house or the next, for his love endures every trial and every test. Please join us in the hymn of preparation.